I'm Renee King-Sonnen, founder of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, the first beef cattle ranch in Texas that's had a compassionate change of heart. We now rescue farm animals that one would typically take to a slaughterhouse. Today with me, we have a family, Alena Hidalgo and her mom, Ann, that have chosen the compassionate route. When she was 15, she chose to take complete action and remove her beloved pig Gizmo from the system, and now he's at Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. So why don't you tell a little bit about your story, Alena, to the world?
Yeah, this started in 9th grade when I had my first pig Troubles, and he was an FFA pig, and this program's really about learning about agriculture and going through with it, and the end result is the pig's gonna die or your animal's gonna die. And going through that, I went through the first time with Troubles, and that was just devastating when I lost him. I mean, it was like losing a best friend, it was so hard. And when I got the money for what happened and when he was going to slaughter, when I got the money from the show, everybody was so proud of me, and I was saying like, oh, why are you crying? And oh, I'm sorry.
So what happened whenever you got, So Alena, you were talking about, how you felt about Troubles, and you got emotional, and that's normal. So tell us a little bit about that story.
When I had Troubles and he was growing up, I mean, every day I would see him, every morning and every night, and I got to watch him grow from this little piglet to this huge pig who still loved running and still wanted belly rubs and all the love that he deserved. And I mean, giving that away to somebody who was just going to kill him, not even look at him, like just to see who he was, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I mean, it helped. I mean, it brought me here, and it got me to bring Gizmo here. And I mean, I'm so happy that he was a part of my life and he made me here. And
he's a part of your story. He's a big, big part of what made you the strong, strong young woman that you are. So what do you think of this, Ann?
I'm super proud of her. I mean, it's really wonderful, the journey that we've been on, and it's been great being part of it with her. We both turned vegan, and her sister turned vegan as a result of this, and it's really been a wonderful journey. So our philosophy has always been to support them in whatever they wanted to do, but this was really, really special. It's been a really great ride.
We here at Rowdy Girl Sanctuary have done all we can to kind of put our arms around you and do like this and watch you fly a little bit.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Before all of this happened, I've always loved animals, and I mean, that has brought me here too. And I mean, this has just encouraged my passion for animals, and I want to do anything I can to help them. I mean, they are my friends, and I love them so much, and I don't want to see them get hurt.
The world doesn't all know what FFA is. It's Future Farmers of America, and they have been an organization that's been around forever. It's considered a very traditional, family-oriented organization that instills strong values to these kids. But unfortunately, there are values that are being instilled that go against a deep love that you really have for animals, right? So tell us a little bit about how that happened and when you reached out to us. And
so being in a barn where the pig was, where everybody's pig was, it's all these kids, and they're all here to just raise these animals, and what they're doing ultimately is raising these animals to death. And I mean, every morning and every night we would go in there, feed the pigs, and Gizmo would get a bath twice a day. So yeah, and I was the only one who was really hands-on with my pig and was giving him belly rubs and lots of love, and everybody else was more interested in like being with their friends or getting ready for show. And I mean, it's not pretty stuff they do there. To get ready for show, they're whipping their pigs, and I mean, starting as piglets. When I got Gizmo, he was small enough to fit in my lap, so these little piglets are getting whipped in the face just to walk a certain way, and if they don't walk a certain way, it's another whip to their face. And I couldn't do that to my pig. I could never do that to him. And
so why are you different?
Why is everyone...
It's $1 million question.
Yeah. Why are you different?
When I saw Gizmo, I didn't see somebody who wanted to be whipped. I saw someone who wanted to be loved. And I mean, he loved being loved. I'm sorry.
And you're in an organization that's teaching you to not love the animals.
Yeah.
To not even connect with them, right?
That they're for food.
Yeah.
They're food animals.
Yeah, when they tell you about the program, they don't talk about the animals, really. It's really explaining that we're teaching these kids hard work and how to work for agriculture and all this stuff, but like, they don't take a second to stop and really receive questions on like, what are we actually doing here, and what are the messages that we're installing in these people? What's actually going on? And I mean, I don't know. I think how they explain the program when you first come is, yeah, this is on agriculture. But when I went there, I just saw these kids doing something that I don't think they would want to do if they knew what was actually happening, you know? These animals, they had personalities, and I saw them just walking around the barn. I could see these personalities. And I remember when Gizmo was going to Rowdy Girl, all the other pigs were being taken away to slaughter from the show and everything. And I had to be there in the barn watching pigs one by one just disappear. And I mean, sure, I wasn't close to all those pigs, but I knew the pig across from me like belly rubs, and I knew the pig next to me made crazy little oinks when he was sleeping as snores, and they were just all disappearing, and no one took a second to even stop.
Nobody.
No.
You were desperate.
Yeah. I was there looking at Gizmo, and it brought me back thinking about Chubbles and everything I went through there, and I didn't want to do that again. I didn't want to put another life through that again. And I mean, honestly, there wasn't a lot of choices at that point. The program is meant to take this animal and put it through slaughter, and you're supposed to feel pride after it somehow. I don't know. But when that was all going down, I couldn't do it, and I decided I wouldn't do it. And I mean, even though I knew there wasn't a lot of places I could go with this idea of, hey, I want to save my pig, and hey, I love him, I knew it has to be done, and I wasn't going to give up, and I'm so glad I didn't.
I'm so glad you didn't too.
Losing Gizmo would have been losing another friend, and I mean, if you lost a friend, you know how that feels. You don't want to go through that. And I wouldn't have let Gizmo gone through just being another meaningless life, just being slaughtered. He means so much, and so much to give. He has a personality, and all these pigs do. Yeah.
You know, when you decided to get Gizmo, you had already allowed Chubbles to go to slaughter.
Yeah.
I mean, you made the decision,
Yeah.
right? Even though you loved him, you made that decision. So what propelled you to do it again, knowing that?
At the time, I had this logic in my head that these pigs are going to be in a factory, and I didn't know much about factory farming at that point, but I knew that it wasn't good, and just enough to, hey, this isn't good, but I'm not going to look into it too much. And I mean, really, that's the attitude of everyone now. And I don't know, I didn't want another pig to be in a facility, and I figured that if I gave this pig a good life, even if it ends shortly, at least he's happy. And I mean, halfway through, I realized it didn't have to end, and he could be happy the rest of his life, and he's living, breathing proof of that now. Now he's here.
Now he's here.
So in FFA, when they're getting ready for a show, they start whipping the pigs, and that's to get them to walk a certain way in front of the judges. And if you can imagine a barn full of teenagers just whipping animals because they don't walk a certain way, it's not a great sight. And what's even worse is no one stops to even look at that except me. Ultimately, what's the purpose of this? So they can have a show and people can just bid money on these animals like they're not lives? And I mean, I couldn't let that happen to Gizmo, and I didn't let it happen. And
thank God you didn't, because what happened was, one day I went to my Facebook page.
Yes.
And I had a message from Alena. Not her mom, but Alena. What did that message say?
I was getting ready to beg in that message, honestly.
You were?
Yeah. I was explaining I was an FFA student, and I was hopeless at that point, and I needed someone, and I needed Gizmo to live, and I couldn't let him go. And I mean, you were really our ray of hope at that point. And hearing about you, I mean, first reaction to hearing about a sanctuary in Texas, that sounds a little sketchy, okay. But I mean, coming here and just seeing this place and how it's thriving, and I mean, you're constantly just trying to make these animals happy, and you're constantly working for them, no matter how much stress it puts you under. And I'm so thankful for that, Renee.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, when I got that message, Gizmo's voice was heard through you. And that's what I heard. And also what I saw and heard was a young woman in FFA that was going to be making a difference. And what better purpose on this earth, on this planet, than to meet a young child, a young woman that is ready to tell that story, you know? And so we got the Facebook message, and things just kind of started happening from there. You contacted me afterwards, I think, or I called you.
Right, and you told us that there was going to be a tour on Saturday, and if we could make it, and we immediately, said, yeah, we're going to come. We're all going to come, our whole family.
The whole family came.
And we did the tour, and the whole time we were just like, is she going to take the pig? We don't know. And we were very nervous. And then we met with you in your kitchen, and you had to go through the whole thing of, you're not going to be in FFA anymore. You're not going to do this, be part of this anymore. And yeah, of course not. And then you said, well, okay, he can come live here. We just both kind of
exhaled.
Yeah, exhaled. A sigh of relief. Do you remember what it was like when it was like real, when it was really going to happen?
I remember when you finally, when you officially said that Gizmo's going to live here, we got in the car and I said, I found a place for Gizmo.
Oh my God, I remember when he came, we were like so excited.
He came off the trailer and all the cows came to say hi to him. They all came around him, and I still have pictures where he's looking up. And
yeah, we have pictures. We have pictures actually of Gizmo in the front lawn here, where we call our socializing area. And as soon as he came out, Houdini and Cinnamon and all the cows just came right in on top of him. It was the cutest thing. I think you had brought a little ball or something,
yeah, his
didn't
little
you?
toy.
It's amazing to watch these animals come to meet the new ones that arrive. And that's what
Welcoming home.
Mm-hmm. One of the ultimate values that we have to have here is that if we're going to take an FFA animal, we have to make sure that we're telling the families no more. It's not that we think FFA is, a bad organization. We think it's time to shift. We can't take your animal and then you go out and go, oh boy, we have a sanctuary where we can just dump our animals when we, get done with FFA and go do more because we love animals. No, we have to make sure that we're conveying the message that it stops here. Right out of my mouth, it wasn't planned. I said, so to do this, you're going to have to come once a week to take care of Gizmo, and you got to bring a family member with you. And that's what happened, right?
For a year
and
now.
You've done that for a year, every week. I mean, not only have y'all done it, you've done it running, with passion, with gusto, So.
Yeah, it's the highlight of her week to come here and spend time with the pigs, and
you can, and it. When she gets here, when you get here, first thing she wants to do, can I go see Gizmo? Yeah, and it's just running to the pigs in the mud, no matter what, and just the relationship she has with these pigs is priceless. If others out there can hear that there's another way, then maybe change is just on the threshold, because you're not the only one.
No.
You're the only one speaking it. You're the only one allowing your emotions to come to the surface, and in doing that, you're going to be a catalyst for change. Just like I know that other ranchers are coming across. Their families are talking to us, and that's going to happen.
Yeah, going through this fight, I mean, I've learned that it was very hard, and it was worth it, though. I mean, I was brought to these people who, they're showing there's another side to this. There's something more than just looking at something and just seeing food and just killing a life for no reason. I mean, we don't need that. And you gave me this opportunity to see something and grow as a person and be who I am today. And I'm vegan and I'm here and I'm just...
to see that, because I'll be 59 years old and she's 16. So the evolution of a young life, to be a catalyst for change for all these years you have to come. It's not easy for a sanctuary to say yes to every animal. We can't. What would have happened if we'd have said no?
What would have happened was I would have gone through show and done the whipping, gone in front of judges. They would have judged my pig if they want to eat him or if they want to pay more money to eat him. And that whole show, it's supposed to be all these kids taking pride and work like their animal is a project, and I mean, that's what they call it. It's a project to them. And man, sorry. Okay, sorry.
Okay. What would have happened? I know it's hard. It's tough. So what would have happened in your mind if there wouldn't have been a way for us to take Gizmo? What if we'd have said no?
I think we would have kept looking. The problem is we were running out of time. If that show started, she would have had no choice. It would have had to have gone. We had to pull it out before that county show started. I don't know. It was definitely down to the wire. We didn't have a backup plan.
No.
We had contemplated putting it in our backyard, but he was rather large for that. So, but no, we didn't have a backup plan. I don't know what we would have done. I can't envision her going through that show. I just can't imagine that.
And I sense that.
Having you.
Honestly, most of this wasn't a plan. It was something I had my heart in, and I couldn't stop, and I wasn't gonna. I mean, this was us fighting, even if it was confusing on how we were doing it or what was going to be done. It was just us fighting and going through it and just knowing what needs to be done, the right thing, even if it's going against everyone. We knew it was the right thing.
Yeah, and we felt it. We certainly felt it. That when we do say yes to an animal like this, there is something that happens. Something that happens deep inside. When we take an animal like that, it's got to be the right thing to do. It's not that we're just taking an animal because we want to, take in animals here, because we don't. We want to make sure that every animal that comes to Rowdy Girl Sanctuary needs to be here. Yeah. And I knew Gizmo needed to be here. And I knew y'all needed to be here. Because Rowdy Girl Sanctuary is not just a sanctuary for the animals. It's a sanctuary, for the hearts of families like y'all. Yeah. So you've been through this whole process. It's been an amazing evolution of a young heart and mind. How would you change the world if you could? If you had one wish, what would you do?
Honestly, I would just ask people to follow their hearts, because I know that people know this isn't right. I know that they see things in these animals, and we love our cats and we love our dogs and all of our pets, but there's a line drawn when the animals aren't cute and cuddly to us. I mean, people know this is right. They know, and it causes people to turn their heads because, it's hard and you go through stuff and you feel things that you might not want to feel, but it changes you for the better. And I'm so glad I'm here and how far I've made it. I never expected all of this to come from just me loving my pig. The people it's brought me to and the support I've gotten from my family and who I've become from this it's unthinkable. And I'm glad to be here.
Wow. So glad you're here too. Man, what an amazing experience. So what about you, Ann? If you could change the world and you had one wish, what would it be?
I wish more families would go through this. I wish more families would think about what they're doing and wake up to the fact that these are our lives that we're killing in the millions. It's absolutely disgusting. I'd like to see more people go through that. That would be my wish.
Wow. If I had one wish, I would like to take animals off the menu completely. I watched the Melanie Joy video on carnism. She was serving beef stew to her family. And as she was going around the table, somebody said, "Well, what's the recipe?" And she said, "Well, we start off with a pound of golden retriever." Golden retriever, a dog. And everybody stopped eating. Mm. And the impact of that, after everything I'd been through, seared my heart. Something jolted me. Is that all of a sudden I was eating my dog. And I thought it was a cow. Mm. Or maybe it was a pig. Who cared? And that evening when I went to my mother-in-law, she was serving beef stew. And it was on Halloween. It was on Halloween. That's the day I changed everything. And what I saw there was floating dead animals. So I don't think that we can have any peace in the world until we stop eating them. I mean, think about it. If everybody stopped hunting, killing animals, if everybody stopped killing them to eat them, I mean, I think our consciousness would shift to the point to where we couldn't possibly be violent towards one another. Killing animals instills violence. Watching kids whip their pigs instills violence.
Yeah.
So if we stop the violence, we have peace in this world, right?
Yeah.
That's what you've done. You're stopping the violence. You have raised a child that is going to have a message in this world. So proud of you.
There's people out there who want to make a difference, and they are making a difference. This place is making a difference. I mean, I felt really different being in like Texas and a school that mostly is FFA kids. And I mean, everyone there, it's a sport to have these animals and to really just raise them for their death ultimately. All these people who just came out and saying like, no, there's another side to it. And I got support, and I mean,
And here you are.
yeah, here I am.
And on the other side of this is an opportunity for families to choose compassion. This family is becoming the role model for that to happen, and they're doing it in such an humble way. God, I never had children, and I never had children, and if I had one, I'd want it to be just like you. I don't want you to be my sister.
If I could tell Gizmo one thing, it would be, I love him. And I mean, he already knows that. He knows how much I love him from every day I see him when I come once a week. And he knows from the belly rubs I give him and every time I pet him or touch his snout or do what he does. And I mean, I wouldn't want Gizmo to know this hard fight I put up for him, because this happiness is simply just what he deserves. This life he's living is what he deserves, what all these animals deserve.
Wow. Well, it doesn't get much better than that, does it, Ann?